Hello guys and welcome to this Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are going to talk about this clan boss team being a budget unkillable team that can 2-key Ultra Nightmare clan boss. And let's jump right into the game here and take a look at the champions that we have to use. Now obviously the one that you really want to have is going to be Helicath. The whole team goes around him, and yes, so in this speed tune, this is actually the wrong speed for this, because I recorded this earlier and anyway, so I switched the helmet out. So the speed you want to have for this build that I showed is 248 speed. Now the build is very similar. You want high defense and 248 speed. With this team, we can actually have 70% crit rate because he is mostly in mage that gives 30% crit rate. Next champion that we are going to use, that is going to be Skullcrusher. Is he right speed? Yeah, he's right speed. Okay, so he applies counter attack for us. This is going to help us a lot with damage, especially since we also have Frozen Banshee. Alright, this is the Frozen Banshee. Now she is gonna be 174 speed in the current build. I will show everything on Deadwood Jedi's clan boss calculator later. So 174 speed is what you want to have. 70% crit rate, attack, crit damage, and some accuracy to land the debuffs. The reason she is so good is because she applies this poison sensitivity. Now you will place this before the first AoE, because then when the clan boss attacks you and you A1 after that, you will place a lot of poisons, and this scales very well with counterattack. The other champion that you need is gonna be Muslim Mage. Now he can be switched out for someone better, but the reason why we want someone similar to him is because he places a block debuffs on all allies for 1 turn. Unfortunately, it is only 1 turn. If it was 2 turns, then we would not need the next champion here. And the next, well, it depends a little bit. You only need the next champion anyways, because we'll take a look at his kit. Now, block debuffs, we are going to use this right before the second AoE. So when you are against green clan boss, he would normally place decreased speed and ruin your speed tune, but with this setup, you can go against every single affinity that you want. He also places increased crit rate, increased defense, and that is pretty good. Now the last champion that we use, that is Sandlashed, as you may have seen. I have him in Savage because I want to do some more damage. So his main obviously her main ability is going to be this one: increase the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. This makes it so that you are affinity friendly. Really good. Also, she does a lot of damage with her skills, so it's pretty nice. Now, the Masteries are gonna be War Master for this one. Yeah, normal, like this is the normal 3 for a clan boss build, especially unkillable team. Then when you always have full health, then you can take this one. A little bit more damage. Frozen Banshee, she is a little bit different though. On her, you will have some accuracy. Do not take any turn meter gain of any sorts. Don't take cycle magic. Don't take anything that gives you random speed increases. Now, lower still works to increase your stats or something. And I recommend using Master Hexer, increasing the duration of the poisons, doing even more damage. Also, since Frozen Banshee has so low base attack, I recommend using this one, giving her 75. That is more value than this 5% crit rate. War Master and her as well. Everyone has War Master. Now, as you saw, my Muslim Mage is only level 50, no War Master, no damage, so yeah, he's not doing damage. So, of course, you can build this champion with damage as well. Same War Master tree as the others. Alright. Yeah, okay, that is mainly it. Now, actually, I want to show you the Deadwood Jedi's clan boss calculator right now. This is gonna be the speeds that you want. Now, you can increase some of the speeds, you can decrease some of them a little bit. be careful that you don't go under something. Now, here it says that Muslim Mage can work on 190. I tried that and it didn't work. So 191 is going to be the minimum speed that you want. A little bit higher than 193. So you can play around here on the Deadwood Jedi's Clanboss calculator. I would recommend that if you're going to use some different speeds. So this is going to be the speed tune. Now, you start up and yes, so basically you will A1 with Frozen Banshee twice so that you will place the so there you will place the poison sensitivity at this right point. Alright, poison sensitivity, and yeah, I can show the skill already when we start, actually. That's going to be easier to understand. Now, Helicath, the whole thing is that he will place block damage right before AoE 1. It's going to be like this. He places block damage right before AoE 1, and everyone will have block damage on the AoE 2 as well. Perfect. You would take no damage against the AoEs. Also, Skullcrusher is going to put out some counterattacks. Yes, Helicath and Muslim Mage will lose the counterattack, but that's no problem. Helicath will still counterattack because of his passive. Muslim Mage will not counterattack, but who cares? He doesn't do any damage anyways. Most important is that you want to have Frozen Banshee doing counterattacks on both AoEs, putting out a lot of poisons, filling the poison enemy debuff bar. Really good. Now, in this team, you are actually missing decreased defense. There is a better option than Muslim Mage for this, and that is going to be the rare champion Marked. She does the small decreased defense on her A1. She also does increased, the block debuffs buff, and that is going to be placed right here. So we have to delay this by 1 turn, and there we go. And that will be extended by Sandlashed A2, so that everyone will have blocked debuffs against the stun and AoE 2. Perfect, perfect. Now, let's actually jump into the run, I think. Let's into the run and the setup here. Now, Helicath, you can just run him auto. He will use block damage first, then the shield. Now, the shield is going to save you from the stun. The higher defense he has, the more shield you have. So look at this current build. He has 5,900 defense. Alright. This is Skullcrusher. Prioritize the counterattack, and he will work on auto as well. Sandlashed open with A1, and then A2. I think this will work on auto. The only you have to manual really is going to be Frozen Banshee, because you want A1 with her twice. Oops, I forgot something here. Yeah. Muslim Mage open with A1, A2 prioritize this, and never use this skill. Same with Frozen Banshee, never use her A2, turn that off completely. Alright, let's go into the run. This is... well, good. Alright, oh shit. Ah, some laggy things. Yeah, show the skills. Yeah, very funny, very funny. Now, so this is going to be Alter Nightmare on Void, because on Red Affinity you would want some other champion than Frozen Banshee. Now everyone counterattacks. You will need to A1 there we go. A1 with Frozen Banshee. The others can work in auto, but it's easier to manual sometimes, just to make sure. Use the blockchain debuffs on the second AoE, so if you're against Spirit Affinity, Green Affinity, then you can live and everything works properly. Now, the last manual thing, A1 with Frozen Banshee, and now you can throw everything on auto. And there we go. Now, Helicath is going to be the leader of everyone, so he will, for basically in the entire run, take the stun hit. And that's a good thing, because he has the most defense and will take the least damage. So there's 2 reasons why we have this buff extension from Sandlash that you will see any second now. That is because you will extend the duration of the Helicath shield so that you actually take no damage. And you want to extend the duration of block debuffs. Now this works even if Helicath A2 is fully booked. So yeah, now the damage starts to ramp up because we'll place a lot of poisons. Let's skip a little bit forward here. Look at this, 7 million damage on turn 10. And if you skip a lot into the run, turn 20, we are doing 16 million damage. That is pretty good. Now, this team does less than 1 million damage per turn, but if you can, you know, fit in decreased defense with Marked or use someone better, or use Martyr instead of Skullcrusher. Martyr instead of Skullcrusher is going to be your biggest damage increase, actually. And here we go, a lot of damage. So, as you saw in the start of the video, we will end up at about 40 million damage. And yeah, that is 6 million damage over what we need. So, that is, I think this will work really well against Blue Affinity, very good against Green Affinity, but against Red Affinity we have a couple problems. Against Red Affinity, Frozen Banshee would be the one taking turn. Also, she would weak hit a lot. So, I guess Red Affinity, you would want to use another champion than Frozen Banshee, someone like a Cult Brawler. He's the second best poisoner in my opinion. So, yeah, Frozen Banshee is terrible against Red Affinity. So, try to use someone else there. But Frozen Banshee is just so good against everything else. Now you see that the boss is actually doing damage through our shield on the stun hit. Oops, I skipped over it. Boom, look at that. He's doing damage over the skull here. So if you have Brogni instead, yeah, Brogni is a very good option. If you have Brogni instead of Muslim Mage, then he will actually increase the shield as well. Like the value of the shield, and you will also take any damage, making you even safer. He will also bring increased attack, helping out everyone. There's turn 50, everyone is dead. Look at this. 20 million damage from Frozen Banshee, she's doing half of the work. Beautiful. So, yeah, this is it for this budget 2-key team with only Helicath as the legendary. Counterattack with Skullcrusher, buff extension, poisons, and block debuff. Now, there are even more options that you can switch out with Muslim Mage. There is a bunch of legendary options. There's some other options as well. Frozen Banshee is the best poisoner. You could use Kale instead. Kale is not as good as a poisoner. He does less damage with the poisons, but his damage multipliers are pretty good, so he's an option as well. Now, Sandlash, the survivor here, she can be replaced by a bunch of other people as well. There is Godseeker, Hellborn Sprites, Krisk, obviously, but and yeah, so other champion does increased buff duration on a 3-turn cooldown. I would suggest Sandlash or Godseeker mainly. Skullcrusher, I would recommend counterattack, but there are only 3 counterattack champions in the game: Skullcrusher, Martyr, and Valkyrie. 1 second there. So you could, if you don't have counterattack, then go with another damage dealer of sorts, someone that gives maybe increased attack, buff your team, maybe some ally attack or something like that. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully you liked it and learned something or something. So yeah, leave a like, subscribe. If you have questions, leave them in the comments and I will try to answer everything. So yeah, that's it. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.